Video game flash fiction. Video game flash fiction is a timed writing game. I'm going to give myself 90 minutes today. The game begins by selecting randomly one of these Atari games or any video game, slotting it into the console and playing the game. And within that time limit, creating an original flash fiction story void of intellectual property to create some book, something like this someday to publish. For now, though, that story doesn't exist, and we've got to find the game. I'm going to use these two dice right here. I have a 6-sided dice. I have 6 columns of games. I'm going to roll the 6-sided dice. We have 3. I have a 10-sided dice. We have 10 rows from bottom to top. Here's the 10-sided dice. 6. For today's video game flash fiction story. Is that what I think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sky Jinks. Let me see if I can get that better. Yeah, Sky Jinks. Let's start this timer right here. Sky Jinks. Well, looks like joystick controller left. 1 player. There are 5 games to this. I'm going to slot this game in. Let's see if it works. I say that. It's been a while since I've had a game not work. These have been tested, but they're also, well, full of age. That's all right. Let's go ahead and see if I can clean this real quick. We'll give it a shot. We do have the timer still going. Welcome to gaming on retro consoles. Sometimes you've got to clean the cartridge. A little bit of alcohol, this rubbing pad. Let's see if it is indeed just need a little cleaning. Although I've cleaned all these, who knows? Wow. You know what is that is not? Wow. That is just jacked. I want to give this a little bit more cleaning. Maybe that could be the story for today. How Sky Jinks. Well, I mean, the sights and sounds that I'm seeing. I wonder if I can hear anything. I'm going to have to turn up the sound. I got the time still going. And I just want to see if Sky Jinks works, you know? I don't know if I had played this game prior to today. I mean, when it came out for the first time and I was live back. Oh, right there. See, a little more cleaning. And we got Sky Jinks. The colors are a bit, well, off. Let's go ahead. Sky Jinks, right on. See, you can clean these games. I don't know what. Oh, I got to get the screen before. I'm going to look up above. I got a screen above with the images on it. I do want sound, though. I want to hear this thing. Let's see if I can turn this volume up. And for all I know, it just may not have sound. I don't hear anything. It probably is not able to. All right, I think I got to go around the towers maybe. Like this. Wow. Okay. And I didn't make it. Well, I'm at the end of the game. So you fly around towers. I think another not to call Activision out. Uh-oh, I've already missed 2. Like when you hit trees, you're just like slightly shift a bit. You're not really dying or crashing. Just a slight sway. I mean, I guess this has got to be like an industrial plane. There we go. Ooh, shoots. All right. See, it's up above. Let me better posture myself so I don't look like a crouched up, tense person, because I'm really tense right now. I want to succeed. I want to do my job of something. We're flying around towers. Like, I mean, obviously, this, you could treat this, if I were to write this story as a game, I could treat it as a game, because that's what it is. But as like a sport, maybe. Or, but that's boring. That's way too close and kind of easy. I did that similar with Barnstormer. Now thinking about that, Activision, they created this game. This game, the game I know I owned when I was younger, was skiing, and skiing is sort of similar in its, but it's going the other way. It's going downhill. It's going down to the bottom of the screen instead of up. But you have a skier that has trees that has to go around and do slalom. Okay, see, now I'm getting better. Now I'm going to have to, like, increase level. I want to see what the other games are real quick, too. So, Sky Jinks. Like, how can I make this not about a sport like it is? Like, there's aerial sports that do this, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to reset. I want to select. Oh, it just gives me balloons. Okay. So what, is it just more like obstacles? Let's just try 5. What does 5 do? Let's reset. Go Activision. Now we have balloons. Ah, I see. Yes, the difficulty of the moving thing. And there's a lot more. Oh, wow. This is like, it extends the game 100. I find this a little bit easier, but there's 100 of them. And then you got moving balloons. Because actually the first level, when the trees, when it was really close to the side and you had to navigate between the narrow passage of the trees, seemed a little bit more difficult. This one I can see there's you know, that's a tight maneuver. That one right there, and I think it made me miss. That's a good difficult tree position. Oh shoot. Now I've just lost. Now, you know, I was trash talking the game and how easy it was compared to the first level, and now look at me. I've got 74 more of these things to go, try to go around within a significant... All right, Sky Jinks. I got to think of a story. And I wonder if, like, what happens if I just do, I wonder I would at least get half of them, right? If I just flew like this. Got the clouds. We're just flying along here. Sky Jinks. All right, 1 hour and 22 minutes. I've given myself 1 hour and 30 minutes. Sky Jinks. That's supposed to be like hijinks. Isn't hijinks like a referencing some sort of act that could be considered funny? And this is Sky Jinks. It's attempted to be trademarked too, so if you're thinking about using Sky Jinks in your next video game, good luck. You probably can, because if that's trademarked still, I'd be shocked. Though it is Activision, I'm sure they've trademarked everything they have. Patented it. But we have Sky Jinks. Wow. I mean, if I made this a sport, this happens. That's not fun. It's challenging. I'd make it more, if I didn't know this was a sport. It does look like a plane. Like, Activision always made great Atari 2600 games. Some of them, they all looked good. I'll say that. Not all of them were great. I still hate Freeway. That was the biggest disappointment. I remember wanting Frogger instead. All right, well, I land after. So there's these towers, and there's points. So we got to kind of work in the mechanic of why you'd want to go around the tower. If it's not a sport, then you can make it about war, but that's boring as hell. Be like, oh, you have to strafe the towers to be able to avoid detection. And every time you don't, the detection meter increases. Which, if there weren't enough stories about war and death, we could go there. But let's go weird. Maybe something utopian. Is it possible? Maybe it's energy. No, because that'd be silly. If you were charging up, then there's no mechanic in the game that does that. It's not like River Raid when you go over an object and it starts to fill up your gas somehow. And I fictionalized that. Read the book. Read the story. It's in the first video game flash fiction book, actually. In River Raid, and it's an Activision game. And in River Raid, you could fly over something that I believe it said fuel. You could blow it up too, but you charge yourself. So the idea is you would go over it and give you back energy so you could fly farther. But this seems like you have enough fuel for the entire flight. So making those little towers about energy and fueling or energizing the plane doesn't seem to make much sense. It's not a mechanic of the game either. But it is a point-driven system, so there has to be something that you're doing that accrues this number, this thing that increases. Mail delivery comes to mind, or message delivery. That's how many messages you have to deliver. And is that it? The conflict is, can they do it? Can they deliver all the messages? All 100, all 99. We'll go with the long one. We're going to have some hot air balloons. That's just how people move in this world. They're so wired in, and there's so much going on, that taking a balloon ride, and how long it even takes, is a pleasure. Because they don't always need to get to point A to point B. And if they do, they're so connected with the thought, work, job, whatever it is, that they can take hot air balloons, and hot air balloons are popular now. And everything's green. They got rid of the roads. So it's planes and hot air balloons, and travel by horse and buggy. The towers we're seeing are communities. There's 99 of them in this valley. We'll call it Ohio. It's not a valley in Ohio, as far as I know. I think it's just got flat plains. At least that's what all the media I've absorbed during my life has been. I may have even driven through it at one point in time, and just not known. If you drive through Wyoming and Utah, you're gonna know. Well, no, Wyoming's kind of flat. The edge of Wyoming, near Evanston, because that's near Utah, and that's hard to drive through and not notice the geographic changes. Whatever. Let's not talk too much about that, because I just sound more stupid than I already do. They're gonna be in Utopia. Yeah, I think so. Let's try that. Ohio, maybe. So what are they delivering? What's so important? If they're so wired in, why do they need a plane to fly by their tower to deliver a message? Unless it's something like secret, nefarious, which is fine. I don't think it'd fit in the story I'm thinking right now. So they're so well connected, but they need a plane and they gotta fly around it. Like, man, that's just gamified life right there. Yeah, maybe this will be in the games book. I just can't. I mean, I like the Utopia idea. I think that's fun. Why is the plane there though? Maybe because it then never stops, and they're always on the outside. So in order to get the points, let's play this again. I think I got a story. I think I have it. The balloons are worked in. You're in Utopia. They're always on the side here because I'm trying to figure out why. Because they always want to pick up people on the outside. But then they're just like, what is that? I could see, so those are some giant trees, by the way. They're engineered giant trees as tall as a tower in the building, and some people actually live in them. And so as you're flying through here in your giant plane, picking up people who want to go a little faster than the hot air balloons, why do you have to say, why would they construct it like this? Maybe because they wanted people to be... That's the tough part. Like, I could see, like, for every point you diminish, okay, you picked up the people. And, like, I could work in the mechanics of why they don't stop and how they get on. You know, it's Utopia. And there's nanos. Dimensions haven't been figured out yet. That's science fiction. That's... looking up. Still looking up. Still looking up. Okay. Maybe it's a calibration device. You have to calibrate it somehow, maybe. And it's not a calibration device. It's testing. They gotta do their inspections. Just because it's Utopia doesn't mean there could be some crazy stuff. Maybe there were regulations at one point in time. But then they changed and they diminished the amount of planes, so now they have to be even more dangerous. All right, let's write Utopia. Let's write Sky Jinks. Sky Jinks. Do we make it the business? I've done that a lot. Yes, I have. Maze Craze was a business. What was the... Yeah, there's been a few. They're in these books. Video game flash fiction. On sale in hardback right now. Well, softback, rather. Electric's coming soon. All of them. And more than just Amazon. With that in mind, and those stories let's make Sky Jinks not a company inside of it. It'd be easy. Because if you made it the company name, then you can kind of wrap it around and give reason why it's called Sky Jinks. That's Sky Jinks. How's that? We'll use it as a derogatory term. It could be about work, Utopia life. They want to downsize. They don't want 2 pilots and 2 planes anymore. Says, all right, let's gender this. 1, 2 female, 3, 4 male, 5, 6 neutral, 6. What's a Sam? Maybe this is just one conversation. I got a little bit of... I don't have any sounds, though, because the game's probably needs to be cleaned a little more. Maybe. Kind of shocked it worked. I'm kind of happy it did. Let's not talk about that because I got a story and I only got an hour and 11 minutes left to give myself to do this. And I want it to be complete. And I will read it at the end. Even how bad it may be. But it may not be that bad. But I gotta write it. And they're in the break room, maybe. God, I don't want to put everything around work. That's what's crazy. It's like, I mean, you write what you know, and you want to connect with other people. And damn it, if not everybody in the world, most can understand work. So it's hard to avoid that subject, for me at least. And maybe it's two passengers. Yeah. And they're waiting for their Airbus in their individual pods that fly after the plane. And they're going to somehow connect to the side as they board. Okay, so this will be more interesting. I've gone down that describing the business enough. I mean, there's a video game flash fiction work that does that frequently in every flash fiction story, and they're not related. So let's go from the consumer who are going to work. No, they're not going to work. Where are they going? Okay, so it's going to be two people. That's Jinks, says Sam. They step on their Aeropod. What's it shaped like? And sit in the seat. The cone cone-shaped Aeropod and sit in its seat. Ooh, let's do this. Yes, this is how society is right now. They can think. I'm going to use my thought dialogue marks as exhibited in the book called The Detective Store. And other stories as well. Soon to be illegal alien. As soon as the book's done. And I got to do thought. That's internal dialogue. To, what's the other gender? Neutral. And I'll have to say Sam. Yeah, that way I don't have to worry about communication, like that's how connected everything is. This is gonna be weird. Speak Sam's mind to Fran's mind, Fan's mind. Sam steps into their cone shaped Aeropod and sit in its seat. Is it safe? Call it the spruce, like the across the valley now. Fan sits in a similar seat in their cone. It snaps the harness. I think so. Maybe. Fans in the cone-shaped Aeropods seat and snaps the harness. Fans. I'm going to name this person Fans. I'm going to sit. Fans sits in their cone-shaped Aeropods, comma, possess that seat, and snaps the harnesses around their chest. Cost cutting. They don't need to. The Aeropod. Yes. I gotta have like at least the approach. That way I can get into big trees, maybe. Susser's hum. As both Fans and Sam fixes helmets on heads. And their thoughts and their speaking minds amplify. Maybe legal. Okay, maybe. This is a little more interesting than just having a Sky Jinx game. Not that that wouldn't be interesting. I think that's a story someone else can write. It's not going to be me, because I've done that. This is like the 120th game I think I played. It's around the hundreds. Seeing I've published 75 of the stories, and I think I have like 65 left, 65 still to publish. So I've written a lot of these. There's many ways to write these, and they're probably all right, as long as it's right for you. Hopefully it doesn't make people hate other people. Or hopefully don't inspire people to be assholes. Sam says, may be legal. It may be legal. With only one plane. I don't know. I'm trying to now reason whether they're going to actually. Like, I got if you. I'm setting up this particular story right here to talk about a crash. If I don't have a crash, then you're setting up. Maybe that's the tension. But I got to have them land. I didn't get to their destination. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe legal. Maybe efficient. I don't know how to spell efficient. Maybe. I may be. It may be. Excuse me. Apologize about that. Fan sits in their cone-shaped Aeropod seat and snaps the harness around their chest. They have data that proves it wastes less energy and will eventually cut our costs for air travel. Aeropod's thrusters hum. As both Fans and Sam affix helmets on heads and amplify. Their speaking minds. There we are. Better, maybe. At least it's something that's continuing to read. Sam says, it may be legal, may be efficient, but with only one plane, it will increase. End the increase. There's going to be sky jinks. Our genetic trees sure have grown. Living tower, we'll say like 89. No. This is going to be like 34. That's the number system. We'll say, I'm going to say says, like they're now just talking with their minds. Like it's no big deal. There's no sense in, I want to lead with speaks mind. Something that I lifted from the detective store, but I don't want to have that every time I write with this dialogue. And the outward ones are me speaking my mind and thoughts to somebody else. The enclosed ones are my thoughts that are meant to me, but they happen to maybe be recording. Sometimes I do it where it's all just enclosed. Our genetic trees sure have grown taller than the living 34, taller than the living tower 34. Our living tower 34. Everything's R in this. I mean, would their destination be where they got? So if we're going through 99 of these things here, so go 1. Let's play this a little bit. Oh, see, I just missed one. So this is a big jumbo jet. So I got to get close, like it's slalom. Like, the closer you get, the less time. So this person's a rookie and not doing very good today. But then again, if you had the arrow shot, right? So they got the little aeroplanes. I don't have to touch the thing. But you have to merge quicker. They used to be able to go just straight, but they had 2 planes per day going at the same time, and that wasn't cost effective. And they kept it out of the middle of the valley because that's where a lot of the roads were at for the wagons and the horses and whatever animals that they had. This is Utopia, but there are still people that like to kill animals or harvest animals for food. Not as effective or energy efficient, but still. Everybody's got some idea utopia that may be considered a dystopia to somebody else. It's called human nature and being you. Oh, see, I failed. Okay, so, and the giant trees, I don't want to talk about them too much because this is a flash fiction story. I only have 53 minutes left. I mean, I've had this thought, and I'm sure other people have had this thought before, where you, instead of, we have perfect things that will take carbon out of the air, they're called trees. But even going a step further, and because we're humans and we like to, do things with nature and genetics, creating a genetic tree that can just grow real fast and consumes all the carbon. So instead of taking centuries, it takes a year, and it just can rapidly increase photosynthesis. I guess you need the sunlight, so there's a lot of other components I really haven't thought through. Maybe somehow this plant can also do more with the sun energy it gets. I'll stop talking about that because it'll just make me sound even more stupid. Maybe too late. The Aeropods speak to their minds. The Aeropods speak to their minds. The plane approaches. Prepare for launch. Screens. Okay, so now I gotta somehow, I want these people to see it. Do they gonna see this all in their mind? Maybe. They become one with the plane until they connect. They're just gonna see it like a normal human through their eyes, not necessarily in the mind. I don't know if this society would be advanced enough, but maybe that just shows you how connected they are. Like, the journey is the experience more than it used to be, because now you can feel the plane. You can see it. Much like a video game or something. Everything's a video game here. The plane approaches, prepare for launch. Flashing in mind like a screen. Like a three-dimensional movie. Play in your mind like life. Sam and fans. Well, they're now becoming one with in this game. So they're now this plane. They're flying. They're in their Aeropods. And this plane's coming to pick them up. And it's avoiding all these massive hot air balloons that are carrying thousands of people slowly to the next destination. Because they're already wired into it, and they're experiencing what it is to be a hot air balloon versus what it is to be plane. And so they're connected right now. This massive plane that's strafing this valley. Sam's and Fran's become one with the plane. It flies with the massive commuter plane thrusting near silence over the green valley with farm fields and giant cotton trees, because you gotta have them produce something. Cotton trees as tall, giant skyscraper tall. Let's just get rid of giant. That's redundant, right? If you can call something skyscraper tall. I mean, I don't know what inspired those trees other than just the tree. I don't, you know. This is supposed to be something entirely different than I'm sure you're going to find in the instruction booklet. Just as fun. Flashing in mind like life, Sam and fans become one with the massive commuter plane thrusting near silent over the green valley. The green valley of farms and skyscraper tall cotton trees. Of farm fields and skyscraper tall cotton trees. They witness. It's like flying large, massive hot air balloons. The witness massive hot air balloons floating east to west across the valley, carrying Um, 1,000 people slowly to their destination as the people within remain working and thinking and being. The plane I've dives, turns, guides. I don't even know what they're like. I'm not a pilot. I'm sure there's words that if I were a pilot, I could use right now to be far more descriptive about the experience of flight. I don't want to say turns. It's not turning, but it's more strafing, strafe. Or played simulation games. Leans to the side. What is a strafing plane? What is a jet strafe? To attack from above with bullets or bombs. To strafe. Okay, well, I'm not strafing. I guess it'd be like tilts. I'm just gonna have to try to. The plane leans to the right. And flies and flows right around a massive tower over the valley toward. It's not, I don't want more than one tower. Living tower 34. Fans and Sam. Fans and Sam's. Aeropods thrust from the launch platform. So mile is what, about 5,000 feet? Sure, why not? A mile. Oh, why would you make it that big, though? That'd be silly. So we got to make it big. Mile from the ground. What's the tall? How tall is the tallest building? I don't know the exact size of it. It's going to be 3,000 feet tall. Nearly half a mile. 3,000 feet. 3,000. How many meters is that? Let's get rid of. Let's go metric on this. It's crazy in metric. In metric. So we'll say 828 meters from the ground. Is nearly 800 meters from the ground. Launch from the launch pad. fans, witness their Aeropods launch as the massive plane leans left to fly around the living tower and fly over the valley to the next tower, the next living tower. The aeroplanes, they're all going to have the same success. We'll just make them one. The Aeropods. Well, human body needs attention. Oops, that's not the one I want, but I can use it. And back, still 36 minutes left in this timed game. Let me take this down here. Gotta remember where I was at. I was in Aeropods. Damn, I had such a nice flow, but, well, life in the body. And I got more coffee and some water. So we're in the Aeropods. We are flying to get to the plane. The cone-shaped Aeropods. Let's get the shape back in there. Thrust alongside the plane. Maybe, I'm trying to think. So now I gotta like how do they board this plane? I originally was thinking it'd be something more attuned to they'd attach the Aeropod, then some mechanic would get the chair and they'd go inside the plane, the Aeropods would go back. But I'm thinking now that I gotta throw in the mechanic of like empty Aeropods. Let's do that. They're maneuvering. Witness the Aeropods launch. Okay, hold on. 4 cone shaped. From the, what do you call the main body of a plane? I don't know. Let's find out. The fuselage? Spindle shaped thing. Like just fuselage. Fuselage. I always just think it's, yeah. From the fuselage. Of the plane. And thrust toward living tower 34. Franz and Sam, so we'll show Aeropods detaching, sliding out, and then thrusting back. I'm just going to call it science fiction. That's how it works. It's the only flash fiction story. I don't have a novel about being able to define the process to a T. It'd be fun. If I only had time. I don't. I only have 31 minutes left. 4 cone-shaped Aeropods. Some from the plane. Slide from the plane's fuselage and thrust toward living tower 34. Franz and Sam's Aeropods thrust from the launch. Thrust from the launch pod. From Tower 34's launch pod. I can't talk right now. Living tower. Launch pad nearly 800 meters from the ground. Fan and Sams witnessed their Aeropods launch as a massive plane leans left to fly around the living tower. This maneuvering sky jinx, the cone-shaped Aeropods thrust along the plane and pivot and slide into the cone-shaped yeah, this is awkward. Like, is that it? I mean, that's kind of lame. Like, what's the resolution? What's the conflict? Getting into the plane? Getting to where they're going. Where are they going? Now I gotta include that. The aeroplane flies along the valley. Like slalom. I want to use that. Slalom. Slalom flying. Is that a thing? Yes, it is. High-speed slalom flying. So aeroplane slaloms along the valley. Slaloms between towers along the valley. Let's use that again. I like that even better. Thrusting near silent over the green valley of farms and trees. They witnessed the massive hot air balloons floating across the valley as the people within remain working and thinking and being. The plane leans to the right and flows right over the valley toward Living 34. 35 to Living Tower from then from and toward. That way I can have the slalom there from Living Tower 35 to Living Tower 34 using the mechanics of the incrementing misses or hits of whatever tower you pass. Flows right like a slalom. Then to Living Tower Living Tower 33. Oh, so the mechanics of the game seem to exist, at least. Let's put tower here. Four cone-shaped Aeropods slide from the plane's fuselage and thrust toward Living Tower 34. Fans and Sam's Aeropods thrust from Living Tower 34's launch pad nearly 800 meters from the ground. Fan and Sam's witnessed their Aeropods launch as the massive plane leans left to fly around Living Tower like a slalom and fly over the valley to the next Living Tower. Just drill that in the main. It flies over the tower. The plane slaloms between towers and maneuvers between giant trees and massive air balloons. Okay, something's gonna... No, I mean... I gotta get them to their destination. Maybe this is gonna be a really boring ending. Be not boring. They make it. The exciting part is the science fiction. The idea of a utopia. So let's go. I'm gonna just have them land, but I gotta give them a job. What are they? But why? Why are they traveling? If they're so connected to the experience. I'm ready for the Sky Jinks, the experience. That's Sky Jinks. It's going to be exciting. That's exciting. I think that's what I'm going to have. That's exciting. That's an experience. There's going to be Sky Jinks. I hope so. I don't know. This is like one of those stories. Friends and Sam process thoughts to better understand the balance of the water Aero cones. Maybe they're going to the edge and that's why they land. Aero cones launch and land in the plane as it nears the edge of the valley and nears the edge of the network, the control. The plane descends. And both Fans and Sam, Fuzz from work thought and had while feeling like flying to their white cones and the voice, prepare for landing. I mean, I could have a like Sky Jinks is the network. I don't know. I'll disconnect. I'm ready to disconnect. I'm ready to disconnect from Skyjinx for a couple of weeks, says Fran. As a connected thought fade, the plane stops on the flat grass field. Sam and Fran step from the plane. And Fran says, I can't remember how to talk. I don't know. I mean, I have a destination. The game ends. I'm not going to play 99 levels. Let's go to level 1. Let's play this through. And I don't have no sound. The cartridge didn't work to begin with. After cleaning. I only got 25 of these things. So straight back and forth. Must be at a higher level because I still got the balloons. Here we go. Skyjinx, they're experiencing what it's like to be a plane in this interconnected network, speaking with their minds. flowing through. Skijinks controls the plane, it controls the hot air balloons, it controls how things and thoughts are flowing, the network in the sky. And they just want to get away. Everything's so interconnected. They sometimes feel like their body doesn't need to move until that plane lands and they get out. Skijinks. I think this is it. I think I'm done. I don't know if this really has a resolution or a meaning. I feel like it could. I'll probably read back on this and think, yeah, this might be a good story after a lot of editing. Might. Let us read it. Let me go through this. The dialogue marks, the thought marks are going to be in here. Be done. I don't know what I meant by that. Stating the obvious for some reason. This is the video game flash fiction story called Skijinks. Skijinks. That's Skijinks, says Sam's mind to Fran's mind. Sam steps into their cone-shaped aeropod and sits in its seat. Is it safe the aeroplane flies zigzag across the valley now? Fan sits in their cone-shaped aeropod seat and snaps the harness around their chest. They have data to prove it wastes less energy and will eventually cut our cost for air travel. The Aeropod's thrusters hum as both Fans and Sam affix their helmets on heads that amplify their speaking minds. Sam says for a mind, it may be legal, may be efficient. With only one plane, and with the increase of travel by the hot air balloons, there's going to be Skijinks. Hope so. Need a little excitement while I work, see things. Get away. Our genetic trees sure have grown taller than our living Tower 34, says Sam's. There's going to be an accident. The airplanes speak their minds to their minds. The plane approaches. Prepare for launch. Flashing the mind like life, Sam and Fans become one with the massive commuter plane thrusting near silent over the green valley of farm fields and skyscraper tall cotton trees. They witness massive hot air balloons floating across the valley, carrying 1,000 people slowly to their destination as the people within remain working and thinking and being and playing. The plane leans to the right over and flows like performing slalom over the valley between Living Tower 35 to Living Tower 34, then back across the valley to Living Tower 33. 4 cone-shaped Aeropods slide from plane's fuselage and thrust toward Living Tower 34. Fans and Sam's Aeropods thrust from Living Tower 34's launch pad nearly 800 meters to the ground. Fan and Sam's witness the Aeropod launch as the massive planes lean against and fly around the living tower like doing slalom and flying over the valley to the next living tower. This maneuvering is Skijinks. The cone-shaped Aeropod thrusts along the side of the plane, pivots and slides into empty cone-shaped holes. The plane slaloms between towers and maneuvers between giant trees and massive hot air balloons. Fans and Sam process thoughts to better understand the balance of water stores and how to help hydrate the population while they feel the flight of the plane. Aerocones launch and land in the plane as it nears the edge of the valley and nears the edge of the network to control. The plane descends as both Fans and Sam's minds fuzz from work thought and feel like flying to their white cones. And the voice says, prepare for landing outside the zone. You prepared, says Sam? I'm ready to disconnect from Skijinks for a couple weeks, says Fran. As their connected thoughts fade and the plane stops on the flat grass field, Sam and Fran step from the plane, and Fran says, I have to think to move my mouth to communicate without Skijinks. I don't know. That was the story Skijinks for today's video game flash fiction. Let's go ahead. I'm going to save this story, regardless of how good or how bad it is. We'll clear that story, and then we'll turn off the game. And with some time left on the clock, that'll be the end of the game. I don't know what will become of that story, but at least there was a story created. I encourage all, find a way and write your own.